The week of the Erector Spinae. So the Erector Spinae is made up of three groups of muscles. The first one is the, just want to refer back to it, is the spinalis, and it runs basically closest to the vertebrae. And then the next one is the longissimus. And that one is a little further out, and it runs from the ilium up to the vertebral transverse process. So if you look at page 129, the middle picture, I have all my notes on here, but the middle picture, those bones that stick out, those are the vertebral transverse process. And I'll talk about this page a little bit more in a moment. So the third group of muscles is the iliocostals, and they run from one rib to the next. And it's easiest to see down here, the bottom picture. That's the muscles, the iliocostals there. So you can see how they run from the ilium up and attach into the, or I should say insert into the ribs. So, all right, so talking about this page 129, these are the muscles that are actually deeper in. So the spinalis and the longissimus, they're a little bit more superficial, but then you have the ones closer in and actually on the spine. So the top picture, you have your spinalis process, and those are the bony part of your back. So if you could even feel on your own spine, the part where it's kind of bumpy, that is what is called the spinalis process. And the muscles in between each of those are what are called the interspinalis. So again, they're closer in. And then secondly is the vertebral transverse process. So those are the part that kind of stick out like a little wing from the back of the spine. And in between each of those vertebral transverse process is the intertransversary. So those are the little muscles in there. And the very interesting thing about those two muscles, and I was reading it in my other little anatomy coloring book, which I'm sure everybody has, that electromyographic evidence has shown that these short muscles remain and sustain a contraction for long periods of time during movement and standing and sitting postures. So they're probably engaged, most of the time until maybe we lie down and take savasana. So what these muscles do, all three of them, when you engage them, they help you to stand up tall, like in Tadasana. When you engage, so I'm just going to talk about the erector spinae muscles, the ones that are more superficial. The spinalis, well actually the three muscle groups, the spinalis, the longissimus, as well as the iliocostals. So those three help you to sit up tall. Now if you engage the longissimus as well as the iliocostals, what happens is, I'm sorry, I'm saying it incorrectly, the iliocostalis muscles. So the ones that are further away from the spine. So if you contract those, Dr. Ray Long talks about how they go into Utthita Trikonasana. So those are the two muscles that are engaging to help you bend laterally. So they're not the only ones that are engaging. When you come into this triangle pose, not only are those muscles engaging, but the obliques as well as the psoas to help you get deeper into the pose. So this is kind of cool how everything starts to come together. And when you engage when you contract one side or the other, that's when you start to get more of that twisting action happening. So I kind of like to play around with things individually just to see how they work. It's very fascinating to me. So, okay, those are those three muscles. The poses that help strengthen them are back bends. So you have two kinds of back bends. One is, so you come into camel, and this is where the gravity helps to get you deeper into the pose. And then the other one is, you just refer back to this other book,